and allow me to welcome Greek fashion designer Vassilis Zoulias here on the Doralicious Show for the very first time, που κάνει ένα υπερατλαντικό ταξίδι μέσω του Zoom, and he's here with us. Mr. Zoulias, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
Oh, we're very excited. I think everyone's excited. Let me be honest. Emily in Paris, how did you manage to get your work on one of the most watched shows on Netflix?
Yeah, this is amazing. Well, it's visualization, I think you call it. I was watching season 1 and I was thinking this girl would look great in my clothes. And then it happened. Well, actually, you know, my associate, who's the jewelry designer, Pericles Kondilatos, who did a crown for Lady Gaga, and we went to Met Gala together with Dress Mindy Kaling, Met Gala 2018. He was working with his associates, with Patricia Field, who's a stylist.
Oh, she's stunning.
Yeah.
Sex and the City, everything.
For many years. So after the Golden Globes 2018, where I dressed Alison Brie with at the Me Too night in black, and it was very successful with the dress with pants. We met with Patricia. We had dinner, and then I think she put me somewhere in her head that I exist, you know, and I'm doing nice things. So when Emily in Paris came, she sent me a mail, and she had chosen like 25 pieces from various collections. Of course, you know, I was so thrilled and happy. And then they decided on these 5. I guess it would be scandalous to wear more than 5. I believe I'm the designer who she chose 5. And, you know, it came to, that's the story behind it.
How did you feel after you started watching season 2 and seeing your dresses? We're making now worldwide. A trip worldwide. How did you feel?
Well, I felt extreme joy, and then satisfaction. And, you know, overnight we became global. I can say this because there's thousands of people came to our e-shop and our website, you know, and they start buying what Emily was wearing. Especially the yellow jacket. I don't know how many we sold all around the world. I really, you know, so that's it gave me great joy and satisfaction, you know, because we had it hard the past 10 years, you know, working in fashion around the world. It's difficult. So you can imagine in Greece.
Absolutely. So how, in terms of the pandemic, was it affecting the fashion industry in Greece as much? How did it affect you?
It affected everybody and everyone. And of course, it affected all fashion businesses. But I like to see the good part in everything. The good part in this was that we were able to create our e-shop during the pandemic because people, you know, were staying home. So people start buying things from their homes. And that gave us an opportunity to expand, you know, to get to people's homes in Greece, and now with Emily in Paris, all around the world.
And do you ship worldwide?
Yeah.
So people
in Canada. In Canada, we ship a lot.
You know what?
You'll be going around in Canada, you'll be watching the Emily, the jacket.
I'm so excited to come to Greece.
So you will spot it somewhere.
I'm excited to come to Greece and visit your atelier and just pick out some outfits and just be your like fashion advisor here in Canada.
We're here.
So spring summer 2022. What's hot? What's happening?
Well, something really special is happening. We're doing a show at the Atalos Stoa, which is right under Acropolis, with Ariana Rockefeller, whom her grandfather, John D. Rockefeller, gave the money to fix the Stoa back in 1953. So, and we met here, and we decided to do the show together in April. So I'm working on this now.
That's exciting. Λοιπόν, πάμε σε ένα διαλυματάκι, because I wanted you to tell us, what should we wear? What are the colors? What are the trends coming up? So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
Okay.
Mr. Zoulias, what's hot? Spring, summer 2022. What are the must pieces that we need to have?
Well, the must pieces are 5, and you can see them on Emily in Paris. Everything is there: the colors, the jackets, the shapes, the skirt with the flower blouse, the dress with the lace and the check skirt, check taffeta skirt, which was amazing. Everything is there.
Ξέρετε τι μου αρέσει πάρα
Check me
πολύ.
out. Check me out. Check me out.
And I have to say this, what I adore about your work is that it's very feminine, in a very classy, traditional yet modern way feminine.
Yeah, yeah.
Where do you draw your inspiration every season?
Well, there has to be something, and there has to be a woman behind. So every season there's a woman behind. Now the inspiration for the show coming up, it's the title, it's The Swans. Ariana Rockefeller is a modern swan. The swans, as in Truman Capote's interpretation of the swans, you know, those wasp American girls in the 50s.
Yeah.
Gloria Vanderbilt, Susie Guest, Lee Rathville, you know, Jackie Onassis. So my inspiration is these women, together with Ariana Rockefeller, who I believe she's a modern day swan of today. And, you know, I have to have a story in my head every time, because I'm telling a story to the people through my work. So I have to have a story, and I have to have, usually the story is filled with women. It will either be a movie or a situation or a concept, you know. But it's women. It has to do with the past, and I'm bringing the past into the future. I believe that's, you know, there's no present without the past.
I like that. It's a fusion. It's a fusion of the 50s with a touch of the modern world.
It's somehow, you know how Amy Winehouse and her songs were all inspired by the 60s, but she was bringing it into today in a beautiful way. It's like this, you know, I'm telling my song. I'm singing my song.
If you could have any model walk on your show, who would it be?
Oh my God.
I know, that's a toughy one.
any model, oh my God.
And we're going to manifest it the way you manifested Emily. This is the manifestation.
This is a manifestation, exactly. I have to really. Well, oh my God, there's many I like. But I would bring someone from the 90s. I would bring Naomi Campbell, I think, to my show.
Supermodels.
Yeah, I would love to have Naomi.
But Mr. Zoulias, what happened to those supermodels? I grew up in the 90s, right, with Heidi Klum, Naomi Campbell. These models don't exist anymore.
Yeah. The bodies don't exist anymore, because, you know, after Kate Moss came to, you know, everyone got really thin. There's no curves. 90s was about curves and women, tall women with curves.
I have a Greek body. I'm like an abdominal, but I have curves. I always curse at my mother when I tell her, I'm like, why do you give me these curves that I don't fit in clothes?
Well, curves are way in fashion now.
Great, I love it. So, in terms of your next steps after the fashion show that you're having in April, what do you do? What's your world like?
Well, after the fashion show, I will come. I think I will come to New York to do a trunk show in May.
Yes.
Yeah, we used to do that right before the pandemic, and then we have another celebration show. It's 40 years since Grace Kelly's death, and we're celebrating this in Monaco with a show dedicated to her style in November.
Τι υπέροχα. Λοιπόν, δεν θα σας αφήσω ακόμα να φύγετε. Σας έχω ακόμα λίγα λεπτά, so stay tuned, don't go anywhere. And we're back with Mr. Zoulias, Greek designer whose work was phenomenal on Emily in Paris. Ήρθε και η Ειρήνη μας, she has a girl crush on your work. Σας το λέω.
Ναι, θα μπορούσα. Εγώ όλη την ώρα σας αναφέρω στην εκπομπή, στο happiness. Έχουμε ένα section που λέγεται happiness. Σε κάθε φορά που κάνετε ένα βήμα έξω από την Ελλάδα, κάτι αναφέρουμε για εσάς. Και είμαι τόσο χαρούμενη, δεν θα μπορούσα να λείπω.
Ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ, κορίτσια. Ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ. I really appreciate it.
You were telling us that you've been to
support each other.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Είναι αυτό που λέγαμε. Αν εμείς δεν υποστηρίζουμε ένας τον άλλον, ποιος θα μας υποστηρίξει?
Βέβαια. We have to.
Για πείτε μας λίγο. Όταν είχατε έρθει στο Καναδά, ποιες ήταν οι εντυπώσεις σας?
Θυμάμαι τα μεγάλα πάρκα. Είναι τώρα 15 χρόνια. Στο Τορόντο είχα πάει.
Ωραία.
Θυμάμαι ότι έκανε πάρα πολύ κρύο, είχε χιόνι.
Σίγουρα έχετε έρθει στο Τορόντο τότε.
Και πηγαίναμε όλο κάτω στα malls που ήταν κάτω από το.
Στο downtown, nice. Τι σας είχε αρέσει το fashion εδώ στο Τορόντο? Δεν ξέρω, οι γυναίκες που περπατούσαν, σας είχε κάνει κάτι εντύπωση, σας είχε αρέσει κάτι?
Όχι, φορούσαν έκανε πολύ κρύο και φορούσαν πολλά παλτό και γούνες.
Ναι, η αλήθεια είναι δεν μπορείς να καταλάβεις το χειμώνα.
Έκανε πολύ κρύο.
Layers.
And everything was happening under there.
Yeah, underground.
Malls.
Πώς βλέπετε τη διαφορά between North American women and their fashion versus the European ones?
I don't know. Is there a difference?
Oh, yes, καλά. Όλο το fashion έρχεται από την Ευρώπη. Yeah. Εμείς είμαστε λίγο καθυστερημένοι στο να μπούμε στα fashion trends.
I wouldn't say that. You know, I was coming, I think in the 90s, American fashion was in its highest. With Donna Karan and Isaac Mizrahi and Ralph Lauren and the fashion week that happened in New York. I was coming when I was an editor before. So I was a fashion editor for 20 years, actually. I'm coming from the magazines.
So you've seen it all. You've seen the progression. You've seen the changes.
Throughout the 80s, I was in Paris, the Paris scene. And then the 90s, I started coming to the States, New York. I think the New York Fashion Week started in Bryant Park in the 90s.
Wow. Στην Ελλάδα έχουμε Fashion Week, δεν έχουμε? Με όλους τους design. Δεν ξέρω μιλήσετε πριν γι' αυτό.
For the past 13 years, we have a Fashion Week and it's happening. Even during the pandemic, it happened. We had video. We videoed our shows. Of course, it's twice a year and it's getting big.
Yeah, really nice.
Και είδαμε τον Νίκο της Dior να κάνει μια υπέροχη δουλειά στην Ελλάδα. How was that for other Greek designers?
Ήταν μια φανταστική στιγμή στο Καλιμάρμαρο, αλλά πρέπει να ξέρουμε ότι κάναμε εμείς τιμήσαμε τον Dior δίνοντας αυτό το χώρο. Δεν μας τίμησε ο Dior με την παρουσία.
Τι ωραίο αυτό που είπατε. I love the juxtaposition of the imagery that you created right now.
Yeah. Έτσι είναι. It was a great event, but we honored them, not them.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it's nice if you see big designers come to Greece to do their shows. So δίνει μια ανάσα νομίζω και στους Έλληνες ότι ωραία, αν αυτοί έρχονται έχουμε και εμείς πολλές ελπίδες να κάνουμε πολύ ωραία show, να έχουμε πολύ ωραία μέρη.
Μα βέβαια, πατώντας αυτό και εγώ μου έδωσαν άδεια για τη Στοά του Ατάλου που κάνω τώρα το show τον Απρίλιο. Ακριβώς γιατί η Μέρη Κατράτζου είχε κάνει στο Ναό του Σουνίου και ο Dior έκανε στο Καλιμάρμαρο, οπότε είπαν θα πούμε και στο Ζούλια ναι, να πάρει τη Στοά του Ατάλου. Οπότε ξέρεις το ένα έφερα.
Ναι, πολύ καλό.
Είναι ωραίο να γίνονται αυτά για την Ελλάδα μας, αλλά η Ελλάδα δεν χρειάζεται καμία διαφήμιση. Δηλαδή μόνο που έχουμε αυτό το κλίμα το υπέροχο, τον ήλιο μας και την ιστορία μας που την έχετε κι εσείς μέσα σας κι ας είστε τόσα χιλιόμετρα μακριά, έτσι, it's ingrained.
Absolutely.
Έτσι.
It's a collective DNA that we carry with us.
We have it, and no one can take this away from us.
Και πριν σας αφήσω να ρωτήσω, τι έχετε να πείτε για ένα κύμα που έχει γίνει προς τις πλαστικές, τις αλλαγές των μοντέλων, των ανθρώπων, σαν fashion designer? What's your take on it?
I'm totally against. I love wrinkles in people. I want to see real, you know. But I understand if someone needs to change something, you know, I accept people who do this to themselves, but I'm against it. I don't, you know. I prefer to see wrinkles in people.
You prefer the natural beauty.
Είναι ιστορίες των ανθρώπων, τι έχουν περάσει, θέλετε να δείτε τι.
Βέβαια, μικρά πραγματάκια ο καθένας μπορεί να κάνει. Δηλαδή, εγώ κάποια στιγμή πήγα και έβγαλα το μαύρο κύκλο. Κάναν κάτι εδώ και βγήκε ο μαύρος κύκλος και έχω βάλει και λίγα μαλλιά.
Οπότε, λίγα πράγματα είναι αυτά.
Κάτι λίγο πάντα μπορούμε να το κάνουμε, it's okay. Αλλά αυτό που αλλάζει τελείως, γιατί βλέπω κάτι φίλες μου και ήταν αλλιώς και τις βλέπω τώρα και σχεδόν δεν τις γνωρίζω. Αλλά μικρά πραγματάκια τις κάνουμε.
Κύριε Ζoulias, θέλω να σας ευχαριστήσουμε τόσο πολύ για την παρέα σας, που ήρθατε ένα ταξίδι στο Καναδά μαζί μας.
Να είστε καλά, χάρηκα πάρα πολύ κι εγώ.
Και εμείς πολύ. Σας ευχαριστούμε για την παρουσία σας.
Και όταν έρθετε στην Ελλάδα σας περιμένω.
Και εμείς περιμένουμε εδώ πέρα να κάνουμε ένα Fashion Week with
ένα
you.
δώρο από μένα, αλλά απλά πρέπει να έρθετε εδώ να το
Τον Απρίλη θα έρθω εγώ, μην αγχώνεστε, τον Απρίλη θα έρθω να πιούμε καφέ.
Don't forget.
Ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ.
Να είστε καλά, να είστε καλά.